What are they? What are they? Let's look at some of these areas first. Because we looked at the Word, and the Word talked about be transformed, that we may be able to prove the good and acceptable and perfect will of God. And we're going to look at some of these distractors, and we're going to understand what God is trying to say to us in the area of not being distracted. Now, I'm going to give you a 2-point scenario. I'm going to give you point 1 as being the distractors and point 2 being the maintainers, so which means they're actually opposite. So when I begin to teach, I'm going to teach in a twofold realm, but really you're going to understand it in a opposite arena type of setting. Let me tell you what I mean by that. So if I say up, you understand the opposite automatically is what? Down. If I say left, you understand the opposite. It's right. So when I teach like this, I don't have to go back and go through each one because you understand what the opposite is. You get it? So with that being said, I'm going to teach on the realm of giving you the distractors, and you will know automatically what the maintainers are, okay? So I have to go back through it, but I'm going to teach it in a simultaneous mode as I teach this. Okay, all right. As I teach this. Now, we're going to look at things that can distract. The first setting of the type of distractors is what we call carnality and entertainment. Carnality and entertainment. Well, you might say, what is that? Why that? Why that? Well, this is the reason why. Let me explain something to you. And when I say this is not being try to present the holier than thou super Christian Superman Superwoman saint. Okay, this is not what I'm trying to present, but I'm trying to show you what God is saying. You have to understand, with the new season, in the full season, you have to have a new mind. And the new mind will be a very focused mind. Listen up, be very careful. Doesn't mean every person will go through warfare. Doesn't mean every person will have a battle. But it still will be a tight, focused mind. It will not be the chaotic, sporadic mind. Even though that person will be in God, anointed, and still think in the things of God. But there still can be a low thinker with a sporadic and chaotic mind, even while being anointed and still thinking in the things of God. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about where the person will get past being sporadic and chaotic. And it will get to a place of maturity in their thinking. Okay? And also being focused. So with that being said, this is not to degrade someone who's chaotic and sporadic. But you have to understand the full season is going to require a focused mind. So much to the point where it'll come across like you have no concern about other things. That's not that. You have a vein and a tunnel that you're in the spirit. You understand how to enjoy life, relate to family, relate to friends, society, but still be in a tunnel, but functional. And many don't know how to do that, because those who, let me tell you what has happened, those who try to do that actually got to a place where they actually came out as a nut. Let me tell you what I mean by that. That's the one that's walking down the street that's saying Jesus, Jesus, Jesus all day long. You can't talk to them. Every word that comes out of their mouth is God, 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 Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. That's not what I'm talking about. That's acting like a nut who like you can't even function in society. That's not what God wants us to do. That's acting crazy and nutty to the point where someone thinks we're out of our mind. They don't even want to hear about our God because we act like we can't even function. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a person who knows how to function and still stay in a tunnel. They know how to relate but still stay in a tunnel. They've learned how to decipher in the spirit and according to social interaction and how to stay in a tunnel and focus, but at the same time interact and socialize. And not be like some nut who got the speaking tongue every time they talk to you. Can you not speak in tongue right now? I'm talking about the cookout and the ribs and the ribs that's on the grill. Don't give me no revelation about a rib coming out the man and that's the woman. Don't give me no revelation about that. Tell me if the ribs on the grill cooked or not. Are they finished? Can I get some? Is there sauce on it yet? Ask him about it. You know what? It's something about the rib. Please. Not that. Not that nut. Not that nut. But some of us know how to stay in a tunnel, be focused, but know how to socialize and relate and be functional. But I'm saying all that to bring distinction, to understand this arena and understand, we should understand that God wants us in this full season, you're going to have a focused mind. How do you focus? You cannot be sporadic and chaotic. Doesn't mean that God don't work with us. No, it doesn't mean God works with us all. Wherever we are, He meets us where we are. Don't get me wrong. But I believe that God wants us to grow to a place where we don't have to be sporadic and chaotic. I don't believe our mind has to be up and down all the time. And we got to keep talking about, No. Don't get me wrong, and we all probably have been there. Let's be real. But I believe as we get to a place where we grow out of that, I believe we can. And are we to judge the next one who's not out of that yet? No. But at the same time, don't act like it can't be done. It can be done. But that part is a choice, and I'm saying this for a reason before I even get into the message. Because this arena I'm talking about deal with this mind. Deals with the mind. 1 minute today you're anointed, next minute you're not. 1 minute you're called, next minute you're not. Next minute you're apostle, next minute you're not. You think you're a prophet, you know you're a prophet. I'm sure I'm a prophet. What are you? Who are you? Do you know? I believe I'm called to the nation. I don't know if I'm called to the nation. I think God wants me to go travel to all the cities. No, I think God wants me to stay home. Which one is it? See? A focused mind. And there's many of us people that have much distractives that's hindering the season, the fullness of the season from being able to be embraced by them. So guess what? We're going to deal with distractives, root word of distractions. Now, and then we're going to understand the simultaneous flow of it pertaining to the opposite, the flip-flop, okay? Distractives, maintainers. All right. Now, watch this. Let's deal with the first one. Now, in the distractive mode, because you got it like this, Pastor Mike, because you got carnality / entertainment. So how does that work? See, in other words, in the distractive mode, a person who is distracted focus so much on carnality and being entertained, not the respectable sense of entertainment and what we call the social part of life. And there's a difference. Because there must be entertainment. We must go to the amusement parks and the movies and have fun, the cookouts and events and have game night. We need to have that. But then there's those who are so focused on that, that's all they do. Right. That's all they do. See the point? I'm saying the balance of that. So that doesn't mean you're so focused where you can't have no fun. But what it doesn't mean, what it does mean is you're not so focused on fun that you can't do kingdom and be focused on kingdom. See the difference? And so guess what? The distractive or distraction for that person is the fact that they're so keen on thinking everything is about entertainment and carnality for them. That's all they're into. And I just said about the balance of what that entails. See? So the balance of that is this. That person is distracted, and that's one of their distractives. Because they flow so heavy and thinking all about entertainment. but in a carnal way. Not in the respectable sense of social and functioning according to enjoying life. Because you can enjoy life so much to the point where life consumes you. And enjoyment. And then it becomes not a form of seriousness to a degree, respectfully, and not going overboard, but to bring a balance to your life so that you're not so stuck on entertainment and then you don't bring the balance to your life about seriousness. And you never get nothing accomplished. And God said, I can't bless you like that in this sense. Not on the fullness, I can't. I still can bless you because you're still my child. And it will be a form of blessing you always will receive from me because I'm merciful to my children. And for that reason, they will always be blessed in a form. That's just me, God. But remember, I'm teaching in what ram? The 100-fold ram. So being that that's the case, I'm teaching on the 100-fold, not the 60 or the 30. So being that that's the case, watch this. Carnality and entertainment. It's the entertainment in our life and the sense of enjoying the fruit of our labor, or is it for the form of just always appeasing the flesh? And there's a difference between the two. The fruit of our labor is a point of rest. Appeasing our flesh is what we want to do, when we want to do it, according to what feels good. And there's a difference between the two. See? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So the pastor, the bishop, the apostle, all that need to be read at Six Flags, and all that's fine. Right up there screaming too. With cotton candy and the whole down there and all that. And big soda pop and those who drink it and everything. And big popcorn, all that's fine. But then there comes a time when I gotta put the popcorn down. It's time for me to go in this prayer room right now. It's time for me to go hear from God right now. It's time for me to conduct this ministry meeting right now. I can't keep the popcorn in my hand all day, every day, and say I'm enjoying life. See? And see, this is what happens. And this is how Distractives is built. Because many of his people have not learned balance. And they actually operate in more what we call extremes. Extremes. Extremes means you go more to the left than to the right. Then in another case you go more to the right than more to the left. When really the reality is there's 50% right, 50% left. In the middle is what we call balance. And so a person goes so much 85% onto the left and got 15% in the right. It doesn't work that way. When you do that, you cause a problem, and what you begin to do is operate in what we call extremities. And when an extreme person becomes very analytical, very judgmental, because they begin to think their extremes should be everyone else's. And it does not work that way. Your extreme is not my extreme is not yours. But at the same time, I should have balance to teach and share my balance. Then maybe you can share your balance. Because we all must be balanced in life. You see the point? But when we share extremities, that's when we get into trouble. Because we begin to teach and preach and talk and minister and relate extremities like it's a law. And when you do that, you put people in bondage. Distractives. So this distractive of entertainment and carnality. Can't play the Wii all day. You're going to have to eventually turn the Xbox off. Eventually you're going to have to put the Nintendo DS down. Eventually you have to come out of Six Flags Park. Eventually you're going to have to put the basketball down. And we understand the opposite of that. Can't stay in the church all day. Can't pray all day. You can't preach all day. You can't be around preaching all day. You can't be in ministry meetings all day. Everything can't be ministry all day, just like everything can be entertainment all day. See? But remember, we're still bringing it to the arena of how we're to be blessed. Remember, I'm teaching in spiritual, so I'm not teaching in the natural. So if I'm not teaching in the natural, you got to remember I got to teach it in the spirit aspect of how God's going to bless in the full season. The full season only applies to saints. Let me explain this to you. The full season only applies to saints. It does not apply to unsaved people. You want me to repeat that so you can understand what I'm talking about. The full season only applies to saints. It does not apply to unsaved people at all, period. At all. At all. I didn't say God don't bless unsaved people. I didn't say God didn't mercy on us. I said the full season is for the focused saint who's in their tunnel, who's in their ram with God and understand what He's doing, where He's taking them, the call, and all of that, the obedience to the point where they can embrace the full season. That applies to saints who's obedient to God. And that's not even many of those. It does not apply to all. That's why I tell you before, there's distinctions in this. And it does not apply to many, because most don't care. Most say, as long as you give me the 60, I'm fine. Because in the 60 you can have a new house. In the 60 you can have a new car. In the 60 you can have some money. In the 60, guess what? You can get your mate you've been praying for all these years. For the husband, not the wife. See, remember, in the 60 and 30, there's still blessings. There's still releases. There's still things God give you and give you favor in. The job, the career, all kinds of things come into 60 and 30. But when you come into the 100, it's everything. It's not just riches and materials. It's the anointing. It's the favor. It's the revelation. It's the insight. It's the word. It's what's in your mouth. It's the mantles. It's all of it. And everybody can say, do you really want the fullness of God and the full season? Many don't really care to get it. You know why? Because the 60 feels good. The 30 feels good. Don't fault me or the next man or the next woman if they want the full season. Don't. Don't. So what do we have? That's number one. I got some more I got to go through.